Hey everyone, Tin Man here, and unless you've been living under a rock for the past 24 hours, you know that Riot Games has made some massive announcements that are sure to be of interest to anyone who likes video games. They announced a whole swath of new games, from a tactical shooter to a fighting game, mobile version of League of Legends, updates to Teamfight Tactics, as well as a brand new card game and even an animated series, so it was a whole lot to take in. And I just wanted to give some of my perspective on it, and I do have some kind of mixed feelings around this, so I just wanted to use this video to kind of work through some of them. The video is actually kind of hard for me to make since, despite the hype for new games, it raised some tough questions for me personally regarding my content creation and my path forward on that front. I don't really think I have answers just yet, more just thoughts that I feel like I have to get out there. So the two things from this announcement that mainly interest me as a longtime card gamer turned auto battler enthusiast are the TFT updates and the new card game announcement, Legends of Runeterra. I know most of you follow this channel for Dota Underlords, but these updates definitely relate to Underlords, so bear with me, I'll get there. I want to talk about the TFT updates first. The announcement was essentially a confirmation of what we already knew from Riot, but with a bit more details and specifics. There will be a character rotation over different seasons to help keep the game feeling fresh and new. They might alter some of the characters and items as well, but nothing that they seemed to said was going to be a wholesale change to the way the game is played. They also announced a mobile app, which puts them in even more direct competition with Underlords. Admittedly, I was a little bit let down by this announcement. I felt like we already knew that there's going to be a rotation-based, season kind of thing going on, and there was no announcement of any kind of tournament scene or any other changes yet, so I kind of found it a little hard to get really hyped up for it. While this TFT announcement may not get me totally hyped, it is important because it stands in stark contrast with the way Valve has handled Underlords. It's really completely night and day. Both games were released at roughly the same time, but the communication from the developers, the speed of development, and marketing are also dramatically different between the two, despite Valve and Riot both being major developers. Riot's announced the precise date for this new patch, and their developers on Twitter have hinted at official tournament scenes in 2020, and so on. Meanwhile, we get very little from Valve. And it's no secret that Underlords has been steadily losing players since launch. The top post on a subreddit this morning was asking about this, and linked to the Steam charts showing a steady drop over time. The comments in this thread actually have a lot of merit to them. They say it gets boring playing the same game with the same characters and alliances. The game is great, but it gets old quickly. Game was not properly marketed. They're also waiting for the time when the game goes live with the Underlords mechanic. And also, simply put, a long period of time without major changes has led to this kind of slow and steady decline. The latest announcement from Valve vaguely said that they would miss the target date for the big update, which was targeted to be in the first half of October here, and instead they are going to start previewing those mechanics this week rather than releasing it this week. So these mechanics that we're anticipating are the Underlords mechanic, the duo mode, new units and alliances, and there's some speculation about item changes, replay features, and ranked changes as well. Despite the fact that it's going to be slightly delayed, this is still going to be a really sweet update and should substantially shake up the game and give a lot of those players reasons to come back to the game. My concern, though, is will it be enough? No doubt we're going to see a huge spike in popularity when it releases, but are they going to be able to sustain that? What about the future plans past the big update? I know of no speculation of anything past that. I believe they've kind of vaguely hinted that there would be a unit rotation at some point. No further details on that. Or anything along the lines of a tournament scene going into the future. We really have no idea what the future holds for Dota Underlords, and I'm kind of concerned that Underlords will be completely overshadowed by Teamfight Tactics simply because Riot knows how to sustain the game better. Now, I've played both Teamfight Tactics and Dota Underlords quite a bit, and I do enjoy Underlords a bit more due to some of the balance issues and balancing philosophy on Teamfight Tactics side. But as a content creator, I need the games that I make content for to be popular so that I can actually make a living by making this content. If a game is going to be completely outshined by a relatively similar competitor, does it still make sense for me to keep making content for it as opposed to that competitor? Now, I really hope that this big update revitalizes Underlords and makes it competitive with TFT. But at this point, That's all it really is. It's a hope. Valve needs to step up their communication, laying out some sort of like roadmap of what to expect in terms of patches, features, and other aspects of the game. They also need to advertise, which I know Valve is just like completely opposed to doing for some reason, in order to draw more players in once the game is fully released. Otherwise, I'm really afraid that we're going to see a spike when the big update comes, but it's going to continue slipping right back after that. We're going to see how this goes in the coming weeks, and I'll definitely be keeping tabs on both games and both situations very closely. I want to quickly touch on the other big interest I had in these announcements, the new card game Legends of Runeterra. Longtime viewers of this channel may know that I got my content creation start in card games, Hearthstone, then Eternal, and then Artifact, and neither of those last two really materialized into anything comparable to Hearthstone, and even Hearthstone itself has been steadily declining for years. So I've kind of been burned by investing in new card games in the past, so I'm going to be taking a cautiously optimistic approach to Legends of Runeterra. That being said, it does look like they've fixed many of the issues that plagued the previous games, and based on the support we've been seeing for League of Legends and now Teamfight Tactics, I am more on the optimistic side rather than on the cautious side. I think this would be a really great opportunity for me to hop into a new card game scene, making content and streaming it as well. There's a bit of an issue though. The game is not fully released yet. It's still in a preview patch that I currently do not have access to. I don't have access to the preview patch. It's kind of like a lottery system that they give out like beta keys. But I'm hopeful that I'll get into that soon. I would imagine that the content creation end of it would really start to take off though once the open beta or full release comes out, which may be a few months away according to some of the people I've talked to about it. So I guess that really means that I have some time to figure out exactly what my plan is for this game and how I want to balance making content for it along with other video and stream content that I'm making. So this has kind of been a combination of my thoughts from kind of a high-level state of the game perspective and also from my personal perspective as a content creator. These are actually really intimately linked since my ability to make a living as a content creator really does depend on the state and popularity of the games that I'm making content for. If the game is not popular, there's going to be no one to watch the videos, there's going to be no one to watch the streams, and there's just going to be no sense in making that content. And I want to make it clear I'm not abandoning Dota Underlords, far from it. I actually really enjoy the game and really enjoy making content for Dota Underlords. But I really wanted to make this video to make it clear to my community and hopefully to the Underlords developers that there is competition out there and that competition is moving fast, much faster than Underlords. And I'm afraid if they do not change their approach, they could easily be left behind, which I do not want to see. Teamfight Tactics is a direct competitor, and many fans of the auto battler genre also enjoy card games like myself, which is why it's really important to know what's going on elsewhere in the industry right now. I'll still be keeping up my regular Dota Underlords content, and I'm really hyped for the big update, which should be coming soon, but I'll also be actively monitoring the situations with all three of these games over the next few months to figure out what makes the most sense for me in the long term. Thank you all so much for your support. I really do appreciate every viewer here on YouTube or over on Twitch. And special thanks to all my Patreon supporters and Twitch subscribers. You guys make all this content possible. I'd love to hear your thoughts on these announcements, so please let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.